So this is the third day. You've got the other two recordings in the group. The ultimate orgasmic upgrade. So the last two videos, they were talking about how we can clear blockages out of our systems, which are stopping our energy from flowing and stopping us from getting in touch with our orgasmic energy. And this is like huge because everything we're taught, in fact, everything like we're programmed, we're educated, and so on, is actually teaching us to basically repress our energy, so block our energy system. So everything we're being taught to do from a young child, we're being taught to block our energy system. So we end up with such a blocked energy system. We can't actually tune into the most powerful energies that we've got that guide us in so many different ways, giving us increase of energy, giving us inspiration, giving us creativity, good health, and so on and so forth. So once we've done the work to clear out these energy blockages, it takes about 5 weeks minimum to do this. We're then on the path to start working with and moving these more powerful energies around the body and being able to basically actually harness their powers. And these energies are literally called like a superfood for the soul by the Taoist, because they can just be converted into anything. They're like a superfood, you know? So this is all about becoming exceptional, going from maybe being mediocre or surviving to becoming exceptional. And being exceptional means we stand out from the crowd. Here we are looking at being exceptional as becoming the ultimate version of you. So this is not about you trying to be someone you're not, but it's about you being you to the best of your ability. And it reminds me of this scene out of Kung Fu Panda, where Kung Fu Panda actually says like, wow, all this, I'm trying to be Tigress, I'm trying to be the snake, I'm trying to be everyone else, and now I'm just realizing what I'm supposed to do is be me. And that's really what we're here to do. We're here to be us and to shine as us and to represent us, because each of us has a unique quality which is needed by the world. And the more that we can shine this unique quality that we have, the more that we are going to, first of all, enjoy life, and second of all, be able to do good in the world around us. So this goes way beyond intelligence, privilege, and even talent. This is about drive and determination, but most importantly, it's about understanding the nature of our reality and having the tools to work with what you have got and following the path of least resistance to have fun in the process. So the whole idea that we need to suffer to get somewhere and so on and so forth, well, it's yeah, this is not about suffering. Sure, absolutely, hard work and discipline are important, but what we're tapping into here is something that really is designed to make us feel really good. So just to mention who I am, I've studied and practiced Taoist alchemy for over a decade. Through this practice, I managed to blow the lid off of my anorgasmia and simultaneously cure chronic health problems, addictions, and start manifesting creativity and abundance. I studied with the Taoist Grandmaster Mantak Chia and learned to practice and teach the ancient Taoist arts of energy cultivation and transmutation. And I'm also a certified Tantra educator and have helped thousands of people to get in touch with their sexuality. And that is a picture of me here with a Master Chia. So I just put a disclaimer here because it's really important to understand how these exercises work. This isn't something that we do overnight and just, you know, master, because a certain amount of skills need to be built up to be able to cultivate and work with these energies before we can really start working with them in any effective way. So these are powerful energies that we are working with, and they must be respected. And many Western people have played with these energies and harmed themselves in various ways. The Taoist practices that we look at are taught in specific ways and in specific orders. So for example, what we're doing now is what we're talking about today is requisite that people do at least this 5 weeks of study beforehand. Everybody has to do it basically because you've got to grow these skills to be able to do it. So malpractice can result in serious and permanent health problems. So this includes taking the practices out of context. For example, learning things from a book or a YouTube video. It's not a recommended thing to do. And energy is not a toy, it's a serious stuff, you know. So just to explain about the info here, what this is all about. So everything I'm covering here is based on the work that I've developed and evolved with my clients. And if you are interested to follow this path with me, get in touch to apply for a consultation. This is a highly complex system that works by developing your skills to cultivate, transmute, refine, and store energies. These are potent and volatile energies that include sexual energy that we tap into that can harm as well as heal. I don't recommend to practice it without guidance. That said, the benefits of embarking on this path are often felt in weeks of starting. This includes healing from debilitating mental conditions, and the impact is also felt on physical and sexual health. Because this work is holistic, its powerful effects are felt through every layer of life. For example, CEOs that I work with literally find benefits to their whole company within weeks of starting. Just give me a moment. Oh yeah, I just wanted to double check I was actually recording. So I forgot that the other day. So moving on. Okay, so hard work and flow. I'm a huge believer in hard work. Yet I also know it's possible to slog for years, even decades, and to just exhaust yourself, going round and round in circles. This is no way to live. It's no good for you and no good for everyone else. We are programmed that hard work is a virtue. Yes, it is. But will you be traveling upstream with a broken paddle or following the current with a streamlined state-of-the-art paddle? If you have the determination to really shine your own personal flavor of love and inspiration into the world, you are committed to feeling that you are having a positive impact on your own life and those around you. This is for you. You don't need to keep fighting. There is an easier way. And I've done this myself. I see so many people doing it, thinking that they're somehow saving themselves, time or bother or hassle or money or whatever, and just going round and round in circles for decades, when there's much simpler and easier ways by learning to get into the flow and getting into the current. So let's start off with an exercise, because the last 2 days I've asked you to do an exercise where you're looking at some things in your life that could evoke some maybe unpleasant emotions, so things that were draining you. And I ask you now today to visualize yourself 6 months in the future. The energy drains that you wrote down on this first day are gone, or at least reduced to a dull whisper. You have the energy that you want, and the emotions that were bothering you are now feeling like a harmonious part of you. What is different in your life? How is your happiness, health, creativity, vitality, and finances affected? What are you doing in the future? Take this juicy, amazing, incredible vision into your mind, body, and soul. Hold it there. Later, we will be amplifying and working with this energy to manifest your desires. And if you follow me much, you've probably heard me talking a lot about the liver and the wood element and how important anger is. And you might be confused about what I'm talking about. Anger, I don't blame you. It took me a long time to get my head around this as well. But the liver, it actually gives us vision. And this is another reason it's so important to get into a good relationship with our anger, because when we're repressing our anger, we literally lose our vision. And sometimes the anger can be so well repressed that we feel other emotions, like, for example, worry or other things. But that anger, it plays a big role because it takes away our confidence when we don't know how to sit with anger. So I want to have a little look at just a few more blocks, not quite on the Taoist level, but just things that I found in myself about why didn't you do it yet? So if you're watching this, I'm sure that you are interested, right, to become exceptional, but why haven't you done it yet? So if you're here, you have read my invitation to join if you're committed to becoming an exceptional person. I know you are here on this last day because you have made a commitment to yourself to move on from where you are now and to create the life of your dreams. It's important to acknowledge, free of shame and judgment, why you are not where you want to be now. Most people, however determined, don't actually know how to get what they want from life. I look back with regret on the years of my life where I was stuck in my internal dramas, unable to walk my path, live my destiny, and achieve my dreams. I was literally going around in circles and punishing myself, but I didn't know any better. Once I learned it was time to change, and that was it. So, we can walk around in ignorance, but I suppose once that, the path is revealed and then we're continuing to choose to walk around in ignorance, then it becomes our choice. So moving on, looking at why do we self-sabotage, right? This is all stuff I've done. I've caught myself on, I've looked at, and I think this is very, very common stuff that most people can see to some extent. Some of these apply. So the mother wound. If mom didn't give us the appropriate love we needed, we will struggle to give ourselves what we need in life. We will live in scarcity and victimhood, pour it all out onto others, but struggle to prioritize ourselves and give us what we need. Not believing in yourself. And of course, when we're taught and programmed to repress all these parts of ourselves, how are we supposed to believe in ourselves, right? We are programmed not to believe in ourselves. So it's no wonder we doubt our own ability to become exceptional. It's easy to count the costs of doing something to seriously change things, but it's essential to hold the vision of where you are going and to go there. Take back your power, because self-doubt, it will always find ways to slip in. It's insidious, but you need to be stronger than the self-doubt. Being worried what others will think if you become exceptional. Of course, people will think things, whatever you do. Yet, are you going to let others dictate your happiness? Because they're going to judge you if you're not doing well. They're going to judge you if you're doing well. You can't change that, So if they're going to judge you for one thing, they'll probably judge you for the other, and they probably don't have your back anyways. So pain and trauma is a real thing, and it has an energy of its own to hold us back. This is the matrix of how we are programmed, and to jump out of it takes determination and drive. You need to reach deep into your soul and find your reserves of willpower to start this process. But once you have, you will reap the rewards. So, what if someone attacks you when you stand in your power? It does happen, and it happens to me. But first of all, you get way more blessings and love than you get hate. And secondly, when you're actually in your power, you don't care. And then the father wound. So waiting for the approval of others to take action in your life. Expecting external authorities to save us from ourselves instead of taking action to create the life of our dreams will get us nowhere. Tried and failed before, terrified to try again. Totally understandable. Yet if you are a quitter, you will never be exceptional. This is about tapping into your internal sense of balance and equilibrium and feeling from that instead of making decisions based on fear.
And I started doing the multi-orgasmic toolkit back in June, I think it was now. And the practices that Jay teaches you really, really bring a massive change in your energy, in how you feel, your vitality. It's been an incredible journey. I went from being someone, I wasn't previously like this, but I went from having severe anxiety to the point I didn't even want to leave my own home, to going out back like I used to on my own. I do a lot of photography, and for about 6 months I didn't even leave the house with the camera, which is something that I would do on a daily, weekly basis in my normal life. I mean, I have a day job that takes its toll on me, but that was about the only reason I was sort of leaving the house and my family. Since doing the inner smile every day and the other practices, I can really feel a massive energy shift in my life. And I suppose my dream is to work with my camera as a full-time job. And my creativity is massive now. It's on fire, and the only problem I have now is the time to go and do it. It's not the drive to get out and do it. The drive's there, which is a better problem to have than not wanting to leave the house. And also, the sales on my Facebook page they've gone from virtually zero to I'm getting a good few orders each month. And now I'm offering photography shoots to people. And there's a huge shift in the abundance in my life. And I put it down to the fact of all the Tao practices that have helped me change the way I am and grow my self-love for me, have really helped in my daily life with my family and also with my business. It's been a massive change for me, and I'm really grateful to have been on this journey. And I shall continue the practices, and I've got so much from it. And I really appreciate all the hard work Jay put into putting the course together. And I can't thank her enough for the change that's have happened in my life.
So moving on, let's have a look at the orgasmic upgrade. Now, like I said, I work with clients for 6 weeks, let's say 6 weeks really, before we start working with sexual energy. I would just say that is a minimum, and these exercises really need to be done properly. There needs to be interaction between the teacher and the student to make sure that the energy is being worked with in the right way, because it's easy to make mistakes as well. So this isn't something you should just jump in and start doing without having some kind of a background. So orgasmic energy is the most powerful life force energy that you have. It is also a highly volatile energy like petrol, hence the warning that I give at the beginning. And I suppose you could see the analogy: take a can of petrol, and you can get it from the gas station, go home, put it in your car, and then run your car. Or you could pour the petrol on top of the car and then set your car on fire. And it's not the fault of the petrol what you choose to do with it. You know, for the petrol to really work, it needs to run through all these different pipes and all these mechanisms and be combusted, and then it can run your car. And that's very similar to how our system works, that there's a lot of complex meridians and various factors going on. Everything needs to be working properly and activated, or it can cause problems. The Taoist system is the most intricate and effective way to work with this energy. Before working with this energy, you need to practice and work with less volatile forms of energy. You need to learn to cultivate, move, transform, transmute, refine, and store energy. This process is also important because you need to clean out the blockages inside your body so the sexual energy can flow. So there's 2 reasons to do this. So I just want to check here. The sexual energy can flow. So hey guys, hi on Facebook. I'm just looking at the Facebook Live on my phone. So right, okay, so sexual energy is an amplifier. This is so important. It will amplify whatever is there, and it has a way of shining the light on things that really maybe you didn't notice very much before, but then becomes quite obvious. So, you know, imagine like if I have 1% of creepy energy, you know, and let's be honest, everybody's capable of being creepy, right? Imagine you have this 1% of creepy energy, and then you start doing all these sexual exercises in tantra and so on, and start organizing tantra workshops. You see all these gorgeous women, right? And what happens? I think that you just need to type tantra and scandal into Google, and there's like hundreds of stories about what happens. Like, I'm actually literally a admin in a Facebook group that is all about this kind of a thing, and it's crazy, all the stories coming up. And this is why it's so important to do things in the right order, because if you look at Master Chia, if you look at even the people training with Master Chia, there's not all these scandals going on in there because people are doing it properly. So let's have a look at sexual healing. And there are like so many layers and so many nuances to this. And it's a really, really fascinating, interesting, exciting thing. So sexual healing starts with the most basic level of feeding the energy of love, you know. And when we talked in previous live events about the alchemy, right? How the sexual energy rises up into the heart and creates the feeling of love when it's naturally flowing as it does in nature, right? You know, the feeling of love, the feeling of connection, that just in and of itself is so healing without even going into any of the complex ways that it can heal us, you know. And this actually starts with building love in our own hearts, so self-love. And quite literally, when our bodies begin to unblock the meridian, the Chong Mai that feeds the body with sexual energy, starts to deliver this energy into our hearts. We all know the huge healing effects of feeling love, sensuality, vulnerability, and connection. But there is more to it than just that. When the third energy reaches our hearts, it starts to transform into a third kind of energy. When the sexual energy reaches our hearts, it starts to transform into a third kind of energy, which is a violet energy that then starts to vibrate and resonate with the violet light in the universe. As this energy starts to grow, it then starts to spread through our bodies and into our cells. It begins to vibrate our cells and return them back into our original programming. So, taking another look at another layer of this, sexual energy amplifies, and it will amplify your traumas and your pain. This can cause chaos in your life, even physical health problems, because it can amplify your blocks. So, you know that, example, people get together, right? They really, really love each other, crazy about each other, and then they're fighting, and we call it toxic, and so on and so forth. And what's happening is the sexual energy is amplifying the people's traumas, and they don't have the tools and the techniques to deal with it. And that's why there's so much bad energy going on within relationships, because people are not aware of things, So it also can be healing, though, this same mechanism, because it brings up your blockages and traumas to be healed, which you can do quickly and effectively if you have learned to work with energy already. So this is another reason why this initial 5 weeks I mentioned is really important, so that when the sexual energy does amplify further blockages, which it will, you then can deal with it instead of getting caught and stuck in it. The deepest levels of these blockages live within our sexual organs. This is what genital reflexology is all about. And if you don't have the genital reflexology worksheet, please reach out to us in a DM so we can send you the link to get it. Once that you have the skills to work with these energies within your body, you can learn to also work with these energies as they are present in your sexual organs for the deepest clearings that you can do. This level of clearing works once the external is cleared enough to allow the deepest traumas to release. So you need to free up the space in the outside before you go right into the inner layers. So let's have a look at some more specific Taoist sexual practices, because through Taoist practices, you can start to recycle unused hormones that can even cause illness and use these to rejuvenate your body at the cellular level. So an example is, as a woman, we have plenty of hormones in the breasts. Men have them in this area, more in the testicles. So you could just try to if you're a woman, rub your breasts. If you're a man, rub your testicles, and you notice that there's a nice feeling, And basically with this nice feeling is coming hormones into your body, This is releasing hormones. So this is actually a way that hormones can be harvested. And then when you have those skills to move the energy and transform it and feed it to different parts of the body, you can then start using it. So many of these nice feelings that we get, to do with sexual feelings are hormones, basically. So this balances your hormonal system, eliminating menstrual problems and optimizing the experience of sexual pleasure. You can wave goodbye to your lube as your pussy naturally flows with wetness, as your energetic flow is optimized, because everything to do with if the sexual energy and the sexual function is working properly is all to do with how is your energy working. So sexual problems is a sign of an underlying energy blockage, that the energy is not working properly. So as well, for men, you can say adios to concerns about performance issues as you get the hard cock of your youth back and eliminate sexual frustration and unwanted urges to be able to connect with the pleasure you deeply desire. Through moving energy, you can start to have any type of orgasm and you want in any part of your body. Pleasure becomes your tool to heal and to grow. So literally, we're talking about orgasms. For example, you can learn to then start feeding orgasms into your internal organs and using those to actually heal your internal organs. Because orgasmic energy is the source of energy we're created from, and it's a very powerful energy that we can use in our body to literally heal the whole body. In Tao practices, we move sexual energy from the sexual organs like the ovaries and testicles into the rest of the body. So for example, from the ovaries down the fallopian tubes, into the uterus, through the cervix down into the vagina, out past the perineum, past the anus into the coccyx, and then that can be distributed around your body from there. And sexual energy can be worked with in the form of hormones. So this feeling hormones, aroused energy, you know, the feeling of aroused energy or orgasmic energy. And you can see that they go from perhaps milder to stronger and, you know, less volatile to more volatile. And it's essential to start by working with the least volatile energy and then work up the scale. So these are skills you develop by working, for example, with the most gentle energies and then building up step by step by step. So it's a bit like if you're learning to ride a horse, and first you go on one that's very tame, and then eventually you're on the more wild kind of horses. Once that you develop these skills to move these energies, you can safely move orgasms up the center of your spine and into your brain and internal organs, and then store them safely so that you're rejuvenating your whole body while staying really, really grounded and avoiding the problems that people get with Kundalini syndrome. And this is best done by developing and honing your skills to work with your intention. So you use your intention to move the energy, not just squeezing your perineum and hoping that the best is going to happen. And once you do this, if you can imagine, you can work with energy, move energy. There's very little you cannot humanly achieve.
Not so long ago, Jade taught me how to do the microcosmic orbit, which is a very powerful practice. At first, I was just kind of going along with it. And then after a little while had passed, I then began to tune into the energy within my body and feel and become aware of my sexual energy moving up my spine and round. And the methods she taught me, how to turn my body into a vessel and recycle the energy, it was truly life-changing, and it's given me the power and the confidence and the vitality to live with abundance and achieve and realize all my dreams. So I am truly grateful to Jade, and I'll definitely recommend her courses, because if you want to really know what your true power is in this life, what she teaches definitely is a key to unlocking it. Have a lovely day. Bye.
So I'd like to now just take a little break from the PowerPoint and start like looking at a little bit at this kind of idea of how can we actually do this, right? So yesterday we did an exercise where we were looking at connecting with our spleen, smiling to the spleen, connecting with that energy there. And today we're going to look at what are the two centers involved with the sexuality. So we're actually now going into sexual energy as like a kind of we're working with this spiritual form of the sexual energy. So it's not a kind of an arousal energy. It's just we're working with it in a more, I think the spiritual form is a good way to put it. So we have two energy centers that relate to the sexuality, and for these to be healthy and working together properly, you want them to basically be balanced, equal, and the energy shared between the two. So there's the heart where we hold love, it's the yang center, and the yin center is where the uterus is on the woman, just above the pubic bone. So yesterday we smiled to the spleen, and let's have a little go at this exercise and let's smile into our heart. So shutting your eyes, and just as you shut your eyes, you can notice that although your eyes are shut, your eyelids are shut, your eyes can still see. And so we're going to use our intention, and we're going to turn the gaze inward, looking into the brain, down the mouth, down the throat, into the chest, and into the heart. And let's find our heart, connect with our heart, and smile to the heart, sending love into your heart. And as you send love into your heart, you can visualize the energy of the element of fire and the emotions of love, joy, happiness, and patience. And feel this red energy spreading and glowing in your chest, filling your heart, filling the chest area around. And then just use your intention to condense this red energy into a ball in your chest. And let's leave that ball there in the chest. And move your attention down into your sexual center. So this is above your pubic bone in the lower belly, where the womb is in the woman. And placing your hands over this part of your belly. Smile there. Into smile there into the sexual center and connect with the blue light that is the sexual energy, the blue light of the element of water, which emanates from the kidneys. And feel that this blue light is filling your entire pelvis and vibrating your pelvis. And you can feel that this blue light is connected to your DNA and to the divine creative energy that has literally created you. So it's such a powerful blue energy. And you can feel the way that this energy is linked into your DNA, and that connecting with this energy gives you access to knowledge that's hidden and stored in your DNA. You can visualize you're sitting in a cave full of old people, and that the old people are all telling stories. And they're imparting wisdom and knowledge to you. And now visualize that this blue energy is compacting into your body in the space where your uterus is or would be. And hold it there in your hands, smiling to this peaceful blue Jing energy. And as you connect with this energy, I invite you to hold the vision of where you want to go in your mind. Really hold on to this vision. And as you see this vision, create the association with the feeling of the blue energy and of this place. And keeping this vision, placing the vision inside the blue ball and placing your hands over the blue ball, holding the blue ball. On the next inhale, I invite you to suck in like this. And as you do this, guide the ball from your sexual center up into your heart. And placing it into your heart. Smile to your heart. And feeling the connection between these two sacred parts of yourself, the part that is responsible for your sexual energy and the part that's responsible for your love energy. And really feeling that there. I'm interested to know, how did that feel for you? Do you have any questions about this? Nice to see old friends and new here. So, I think there's someone here who knows my parents, literally. That's quite cool. So, moving on, if there's any questions from guys in Facebook, just do stick that in the chat. I know some of you have seen this already. We just finished our meditation. So, I'm open for any questions. But let's move on about, what does sexual healing with a partner look like? So once you've learned to cultivate your own energy, right, you can then start working with a partner. And depending on your level of self-cultivation and the partner's openness, the partner doesn't necessarily need to work with it. I mean, just working on this energy yourself has a huge impact on your whole relationship. So yeah, that's yeah, it definitely changes the way you look at sex after you've done this, because once you get there, sex will never be the same again. In fact, you will look back at what you thought once was great sex and you will cringe. The rubbing of genitals to feel pleasure with friction is inevitably unsatisfying, and that's what people do when they don't feel the energy. And once you can harness energy, you will begin to make love as a conscious act of healing and activation. And sharing this with another person takes your energy cultivation to a new level. Your bodies both become alchemical chambers, and you can use lovemaking to heal, manifest, create, and grow together. And this is alchemy and not chemistry, because chemistry, it dies out and you get bored. Alchemy is something different. You don't get bored. You actually just, things just get better and better and better. So, as I said, I'm open here for any questions from anybody. But let me go over the key points for what we've just learned from today. And this is the third in a series of videos. So if you've just come on here, I definitely recommend watch the other two videos if you haven't seen them yet. So if you want to become exceptional, you need to decide that and go for it. You need to move beyond fears and put in the effort. So when we're, we can really get identifying as a victim, been there, done that, had a whole box full of t-shirts that I burned, when we're just living in the place of making excuses, looking for reasons not to do stuff, we're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to go far with that. It is important to understand the traumas and blocks that have been standing in your way, so you can see how you have been self-sabotaging and decide to take action. So just going in willpower can be problematic. We need to really understand what's going on and understand ourselves, and when you look at people doing, well, business-wise, they're going to have life coaches and people helping them to really get everything energetically aligned for where they are. So hard work simply isn't enough. We do physical exercises and learn to perfect this part of our reality. So we'll go to the gym, get some nice muscles, so on and so forth. But when you have the tools to work on the energy layers, you become the master of your reality. And through these skills, you can remove blocks that have been draining you and causing you to struggle. This allows you to activate your sexual energy to work on the deepest layers of clearing to become the true you, and to access the most potent energy that you can use to heal your body and to feed your creativity and drive and manifest the life of your dreams. And interestingly enough, the drive, it comes from the kidneys, which is the same place the sexual energy comes from. So the two are really, really, really interlinked. So I'd like to see if anybody here does have any questions about this. Because I do believe this is the end of the presentation. Indeed, and today I remembered to record. Bravo. That's why I've redone this actually, because I didn't record it. But it's probably in an easier to watch format than it was last time. So, okay. Hey, lovely Shell, learning to move, transform, transmute, etc. How do we learn how to do these things, please? Okay, so this is what I teach in a 4-month program to my clients, okay? What I suggest to do is basically, let me get that into the chat for you, how to book a call. But basically, yeah, get in touch with us, have a chat, and we can just explain to you about some of the programs we're doing, different options you can do. But this is a serious, it's a serious thing to start doing that's basically really going to take you on a massive life path, a huge, huge change. So, yeah, we've been talking about this over the last few days and giving the outline of how it all works, but obviously to be able to really get these skills going, it takes a commitment, and it takes putting in discipline and so on. So just to explain a little bit about how this works, so depending on the package and so on, it involves doing exercises, basically regularly doing these exercises, feeding back about the exercises, and then developing the skills of doing that. And it's step by step incrementally that you start learning to understand the energies, work with them in the different forms, week by week by week, and then building up to basically really be able to get the hang of how to